So chapter 4. So this is your purple packet. So flip to the very first page in your purple packet. I do want to show you something. On the right side, like all the way to the right, this number right here, 26. That's going to help you with this packet. I did it so that like it was easy for you to study. So when you're doing these problems, you can go to your packet and say, okay, 26, the number 1 refers to number 26 in this yellow packet. Okay, so if you needed help doing number 26 on this packet, you would be able to see an example that we did together. Okay, so it's kind of there to help you. I really can't do any more for you than that. Okay, what's up? Yeah, that's what I was talking about. So if you have 3A lunch, you would go to the cafeteria. If you have 3A study hall, then you don't come. Yeah, that's just if you're staying. Yeah. Any other questions about finals? Okay, so let's do this. I would recommend that this week you really try, and I know in this class you guys are good at it, but I'm just going to say it to every class, to focus this week in class. Even if you are used to just like sleeping during math, whatever, this is when you want to study. You want to study with me, and then you won't have to study for math then. You can focus on chemistry or history or whatever you may need to focus on. Okay, you should be able to study in here with me and not have to worry about math. The only thing that you'll have to do at home is a note card, if you want to use a note card. Okay, other than that, everything else should be done in here. You shouldn't have any homework for the next week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever we have left, okay? So let's do this. Write the function in intercept form for the graph below. Intercept form is like x minus 5, x plus 4. Okay, so intercept form is going to be like x minus one of your roots and then x minus your other root in this situation. Okay, so let's figure out what our roots are, or our x-intercepts. We have one here, and that's at -2, and I have one right here, which is at +1. Do you have questions on, what a root is, why we said -2, and why we said 1? Okay, so if you notice, it's already negative, so it's always going to be opposite signs, and I'm just going to write a bunch of things just to help you study. So this is going to be opposite. It's like lagging on me. Signs. So with that said, I would have x plus 2 and x minus 1 would be my answer. Okay, so you wrote it in intercept form. Now again, on the test, or the yellow packet you can see here, it's going to be a multiple choice. So you would have been able to use the answers to help you answer the question. Okay, you would have seen that that's what it's supposed to look like. So the biggest thing is that you always are going to be using the opposite sign. So +2, -1. Okay? Questions on that? We did a midterm recently, so hopefully this isn't too distant in your brain. Hopefully it's kind of fresh because we just did a midterm before Thanksgiving break. And we did go over a lot of this stuff, but if you're still struggling with it, it's okay. That's what this is for. So what is the vertex of this function? Vertex, well, we just got to graph it. Okay, if you don't know it off the top of your head, you just got to graph it. So I'm going to put graph in your calculator. And we're going to do that together. And then we can find it. It's that simple. Let me get mine out. Yep, finals are next week. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That's why we're studying together. So you should only have to worry about 4 other classes, right? Because math's going to be gone. There are other 4 classes that you have. Or 6? There are 6 classes. Because then you have lunch. So 6 classes. All right, let's type it in. Y equals, clear it out. I'm going to clear it. And then type it in. So I'm going to clear mine out. And I got 3x squared minus 6x. When in doubt on the final, graph +5. 98% of math questions, not only in this class, but in on an SAT, it could be done in your calculator. You can figure it out by using your graphing calculator. So press graph. Let's take a look here. On your graphing calculator, it says your vertex is at 1, up 1, 2. 1, 2. And that's your answer. So 1, 2. And maybe you sketch a graph so that when you go back and you're looking at these notes, when you can know where it came from. You went 1 up 2, and it looked like this. Okay? And maybe like draw an arrow so that you know that that point in the middle is your vertex. Yeah. You got something. Ooh. Oh. Oh yeah, you gotta clear that out. You got too many things going on here. Okay. Do you have any questions about it? That's pretty straightforward, right? Not too difficult. But I mean, that's the thing, is knowing what is a vertex. Knowing that that point in the middle was a vertex is really all you need to know. Okay, being able to identify that. Okay, this next one. It says how many and what type of zeros are we going to have? Now, in the past, I had you guys do the discriminant, but why would you do that if you were just gonna, you could just use your calculator? Okay, especially on a final and also on a SAT. So now we're going to practice putting this one into the graphing calculator. So sketch a graph by using a calculator. That's my recommendation here. So here we go again. Let's type it in. You guys did so good with learning how to use this calculator because last year they were not this efficient with calculators. Okay, so I'm really happy that you guys really took the time to understand the technology that's given to you here. Yeah, you can use a calculator in your final exam. You're able to use it on your other ones. You just can't use Desmos, which is on in your Chromebook. Okay, but you can use a graphing calculator. Okay, so I typed that in. Be careful. Make sure you use the negative sign, not the minus sign. Press graph. Here I go. And that's what I get. So I'm just going to sketch it out for myself. It looks like it's something like this. Okay? It doesn't have to be perfect because it asks you, the question asks, how many and what type? So how many zeros do I have? I have one right here and I have one right here. So I have 2. So I have 2 real zeros. And I'm done. And maybe put like a 1 here and a 2 there because there's 2. 1, 2. Because remember we had something that looked like imaginary where it didn't touch at all? That was imaginary. That's the difference. Okay? Questions on that? Cool. So the biggest thing is just knowing what a 0 is. The 0 is when it crosses the x-axis. It's your x-intercepts. Maybe put a note for yourself there if you didn't remember that zeros are your x-intercepts. Just a reminder. Because there will be a time that on the final and on that yellow packet, I'll say, how many zeros do we have here? You've got to count up where it crosses the x-axis. All right, given a quadratic function with a negative leading coefficient, is that concave up or concave down? Very good. Concave down. A negative leading coefficient means it goes from going up to going down. It's negative. And then it has a vertex at negative 3, 7. So I'm just going to graph that. Negative 3, 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oop, I went the wrong way. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is about right here. And you said concave down, like this. Okay? It says state the range. So range is bottom to top. One of the biggest mistakes is people go top to bottom. Okay? And you're talking about the y values here. So here I go. What y value does my graph stop at? What y value does it stop at? What do you say? Not the 9. 7. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm even put like maybe a little arrow. Y is equal to 7 here. So the range goes from, I'll put a little r, negative infinity to 7 would be my final answer here. And maybe put in the negative infinity so it helps you. So you got negative infinity because it's forever going down. And then it goes up all the way to 7. And then if you look, there's nothing above it. There's no graph. You're just identifying where does it exist. It exists from negative infinity to positive 7 is my final answer. Again, once you're given like a multiple choice, I love multiple choice because then you look at your answers first and you say, what is the question asking for? Where is the end result? And you'll see that the end looks like that. It looks like parentheses and stuff like that. Okay? All right. The function graph below, does it have an absolute max or a min? I'm hearing a couple different answers here. Is there a highest point in the graph or a lowest point in the graph? The lowest. So it's a minimum. Okay? You have a minimum at what y value? 1. So y equals 1. And what x value? 3. So y equals 1 and x equals 3. And you're done. You can kind of see that. And if you kind of maybe put a little star here, it's your vertex. You notice your vertex is going to tell you where your max or your min's at. Okay, go ahead and flip when you're ready. Only got one more page. You guys will have like 30 minutes to do the practice. You shouldn't have to have any homework tonight. It's on the green sheet. Okay, the graph below represents the number of retweets per day of a funny tweet that you sent out. Is Twitter even a thing still? It is? Okay, I don't know what like social medias exist nowadays. Describe what the vertex means in terms of the situation. This is one of those questions that you for sure could see on like an SAT because it's relatable. Here's a quadratic function. Let's talk about this. Look at your answer choices though, A, B, C, D. 2 of them say max and 2 of them say min. 2 of them can be canceled because what is this graph, a max or a min? It's a max. So this one's gone and that one's gone. And I even put an X here so you know that that's what's wrong about it. The min is wrong. Okay? That's why those 2 are gone, gone. Now you're down to a 50-50 shot, which is awesome because even if you didn't know, it's, again, 50-50 shot. Now, if you look here, your y values are your number of tweets, and your x values is your time, being able to read a graph. So, what is the max amount of tweets, retweets in this situation? 5 or 25? 25. I'm going to put a little box. Because you want the retweets. So the answer is A. And I'm going to put like this here so that you know like this is wrong because you should switch them. Like it's wrong because it's not labeled correctly. It's in the wrong order. Okay, questions? There's a question just like that on the final. So being able to just read a graph. Not a lot of math that we're doing here, if you notice. Okay, it's just a lot of plugging into the calculator, identifying what something is. Okay, bless you. Given the function, identify the interval of decrease. Okay, so I'm going to put some notes here. One of the biggest mistakes is that people use y values. Interval of increase and decrease, you have to talk about the x values only. So x values only. Again, biggest mistake is people use y. Okay, so from left to right, is this piece, don't highlight yet, is this piece in yellow or this piece in blue going to be decreasing? The blue, because watch. Increase, 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 decrease, decrease, decrease. So maybe make a note for yourself that this guy is increasing and then this piece is decreasing so that you remember that when you go back on the test. Because what if the final asked you about increase? You should be able to distinguish between the two. And I'm going to go left to right. So I always start at negative infinity and end at positive here. But I'm not decreasing until I hit what x value? Negative 3. Very good. Maybe draw like a little line here. X equals negative 3 is where I'm starting. So from negative 3 to what infinity am I going to be decreasing? Positive. Very good. Because it's left to right. One of the biggest mistakes is that people will think it's going to negative infinity because it's going down. But remember, you're going left to right, and the infinity's over here. Okay? Do you have questions on that one? All right, we only got one more left, and then you have the rest of the time to work on what you need to work on. Okay? This one, you really got to think about. This is one of the biggest ones I see, on that SAT. Because you have to really kind of think. But, you know how to do it. But if you notice, we haven't done, a lot of algebra or anything. It's just, process of elimination. Look at your answer choices. These two refer to your x-intercepts. These two refer to your vertex. So when you do this problem, you have to think about what the graph, what the x-intercepts are, and what the vertex is. Okay. Remember, it's always the opposite signs when you're talking about x-intercept form. So, what are my two x-intercepts here? Good. -2 and a +4. So if I want the opposite signs, is it going to be Roman numeral 1 or 2? 1. So this one is gone. Okay, now we're going to break it up into the next group and see what the vertex is. In purple, what is this vertex? What comma what? Good. 1 comma -9. If you look at your answer choices, they both have -9, so that's easy. But the parentheses, whenever you're working with parentheses, like we did above, it's the opposite sign. So which one is it, 3 or 4? 3. This one is gone. So then, when you look at your multiple choice answers, which one are you going to go with? A. Okay? Because those were the two that worked out. Does that make sense? Okay, so the big things, the vertex and the x-intercepts, and that's it. Okay, now if you get out this green sheet, I would use that as an example. You need to do these questions on your review. It may seem like a lot, but remember, it's multiple choice. So I want you to really take it like you're taking the exam. Like, what would you have gotten? And when you check your answers, yes, fix them, but maybe circle that you got it wrong so that you know what you would have gotten in the test. Because let's say you're working on this yellow packet and you got 5 wrong. Okay, well that's 29 out of 34. What would you have gotten on the final exam? I don't know. Let's see. So if you got, see on that from you, 29 divided by 34, you would have gotten 85 on the final.